I stand in my kitchen stirring the rajmachawal slowly, the aroma bringing back memories that are both warm and painful. It's been years since I last saw her, but each time I make this dish, it's like I'm back in her small, cozy kitchen. Learning to cook with her, I try to capture that taste, that love, but it's never quite the same. Maybe it never will be. This story traces back to Bhai Harjeet, whom I've mentioned in detail in a previous video on my channel, Threads of the Soul, My Gurdwara Journey Bonds Beyond Belief. It was through him that I was introduced to his family, and more importantly to his aunt, whom we affectionately called Baybay, a term for grandmother in Punjab. We were involved in business together at the time, though I'll skip the details of those dealings. They weren't exactly legal or ethical. What mattered most to me back then wasn't the business, it was the weekends when I would visit Baybay's house. She treated me like her own son from the moment I stepped through her door. Every weekend she'd invite me over for lunch, feeding me until I could barely move. At first I went just for the food. Having been away from my own mother for so long, I cherished the warmth of her home-cooked meals. But soon it became about so much more than that. Baybay's kitchen became a sanctuary, a place where the noise and the mess of the life I was living would fade away, replaced by the sound of her voice and the smell of her cooking. I had always loved cooking, but I didn't know how to make desi food. My skills were limited to Italian, Chinese, and continental dishes, but the rich flavors of Punjabi food were foreign to me in the kitchen. Baybay changed that. Before long, I started arriving earlier, not just to eat but to help her in the kitchen. She taught me how to cook rajmachawal, butter chicken, mutton roast curry, and a few other dishes. The lessons weren't just about cooking, they were about love, family, and culture. She passed on more than recipes, she passed on a piece of her heart. But then I had to disappear. I never told her why, but she knew. Somewhere deep inside, Allah-ji stirred something in me, and I realized the life I was living, the work I was doing, was wrong. The realization didn't come easily. It gnawed at me for months. The weight of my choices, the people I was involved with, it all began to suffocate me. I knew I couldn't stay, but leaving wasn't simple either. Walking away meant severing ties with the only people who felt like family at that time, and it meant leaving behind the love and care I felt from Baybay. The only way out was to quit everything, completely and without looking back. So I vanished, quietly and completely, without explanation. I didn't even have the courage to say goodbye. The guilt of my actions, the fear of hurting her, and the uncertainty of how she'd react if she knew the full truth, those thoughts haunted me. I thought leaving would sever the ties, that I would forget that part of my life, but I couldn't. Baybay never forgot either. Through mutual contacts, I heard that she still called me her son. Even after I disappeared, she would tell people that she would dance at my wedding one day. In typical Punjabi fashion, she had even saved or bought something to give to my future wife, as though she knew I'd eventually return. But I never did. A few years later, I found out she had passed away. By then, it was too late to go back, too late to explain. I never had the chance to say goodbye. Never got to tell her why I had to leave. It broke me when I heard she was gone, and it still breaks me now, as I write this. There's nothing left of her. No photos, no letters, no way to hold on to that part of my life. The only thing I have is the food she taught me to make. On the rare occasion that I get it just right, when the spices mix perfectly and the flavors align, I can almost feel her beside me again. But those moments are fleeting. The taste fades, and I'm left with nothing but the memories. What hurts the most is the thought of her waiting for me to come back, still believing she'd dance at my wedding, still holding on to the hope of meeting my wife one day. I can't help but wonder what she thought when I never returned, what she felt in her final days. There's a heaviness that never quite goes away. While I disappeared, unable to face the truth or even give her the goodbye she deserved, she continued to remember me, to pray for me, to save something for my future. Even though I never returned, I know she kept me in her heart, and that is something I can never repay. Sometimes, like now, I cry thinking about her. I cry because even though I had to leave that life behind, the love she gave me remains. I hold on to it the only way I know how, through the food she taught me, hoping that in every bite, a piece of her still lives on. Every time I cook one of the dishes she taught me, I feel her presence. Her motherly warmth wraps around me, reminding me of the love she gave, even though I don't think I deserved it. Thank you for watching aikdastaan, where every tale is a testament to the human spirit and every voice resonates with the truth as they perceive it.